Dear student, the student who just heard, "Excuse me, what did you just say?" Yeah, you, the student who just said a cuss word or something else that you shouldn't have said and don't see what the big deal is. Dear student, this video is just for you. So, today we are going to be talking about why cussing and saying profane things at school is not a good idea. So before we get into that, let's talk about why certain words become profane, or why certain words are not acceptable anymore. Why can I say shoot, darn, stinks, heck, but not other words? Well, I'm not exactly sure why your school doesn't let you say certain things, but let me explain why I don't allow it at my school and why my school doesn't allow it. First, let's talk about what a profane word actually is. The definition of profane is not devoted to holy or religious purposes, irreligious, pagan, or secular. Now, I understand that a lot of people in America and all over the world are not religious per se. So why should we follow the rules of what makes something profane? Why do we have profane words if we separate religion and state? Well, I'm sure that profanity was around way before the Bible was written, but I think a lot of our words today are considered profane not because of religious reasons, but they stemmed from some of the things that we choose to have as morals and have stemmed from what we consider as things that are wrong. But like I said, a lot of people aren't religious, so why can't we have it in school? And why do people still get offended by profanity? My thoughts are is that profanity isn't necessarily what the Bible says is wrong. It's since we live in a very secular world, we go off of what the world decides is profane and not profane. Thinking back over the past 10 years, I was able to say things like, "That's retarded," or "That's so gay." And now, if I say those things, people give me a tut-tut-tut and no, you can't say that because that is not politically correct. And things that we say now that are profane won't be profane later. Things that were said before that were profane aren't profane anymore. Like when I was in elementary school, if I said the word darn or shoot or heck, I would get in a lot of trouble. But now people can say that and not get in trouble because it is culturally accepted to say those things. Now there are words that are in the media or you say at home or that you even hear at school and hear pretty much everywhere that you aren't allowed to say at school. They seem to be culturally accepted, but you still aren't allowed to say them. Why? Why do you get in trouble for things that you hear all around you and you hear on TV and you can say outside but you can't say at school? Well, here we go. For my classroom, I don't allow it because I'm training you guys to be professionals. If I came into work and started cussing up a storm, I would be fired because that's not professional to do. And someday, our hope as teachers is to raise students and train students to become professionals. You might say, "I'm not going to have a job where I'm not allowed to cuss." Well, you know what? You might. And you don't know what your future is going to look like. Nobody knows what their future is going to look like. I don't know what I'm going to be doing in 5 years. I might have a plan, but who knows what's going to happen. So we are trying to train you for all of the possibilities and prepare you to become a respectful and professional human being. Aside from being professional, we're trying to train you to be respectful of others. You might say, "I have the freedom of speech. I can say whatever I want." Yes, I understand you can say whatever you want, and you have that freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean you have to be a jerk. However, I do teach my students that there is a time and a place for almost everything. In Korea, you have formal and informal language. When you are talking to someone who is older than you or someone that you don't know very well, you have to use very formal language. No slang, you have to be extremely polite. However, it's different if you are talking to someone that you know really well or someone that is younger than you. When you're around those people, you can use informal language. It doesn't mean you have to be crude, but you can use informal language or slang. In America, I teach the same thing. When you are around people who are older than you, or people that you need to be respectful toward, or people that you don't know, then you need to use polite, proper language. Same thing for me. I try to hold myself to the exact same standards. If I don't know someone well, then I'm going to use my best language. You might say that by doing that, by not using the words that you normally would, that you aren't being yourself. Who I am isn't wrapped up in what type of words I use. So I don't think that I'm hiding who I am from people. I think that I'm just being a polite person. So in America, I taught the same thing. If you curse with your friends, that's fine. Whatever. But when you're around people that you don't know, you should be respectful. And if you say that you shouldn't be, or it doesn't matter because of your freedom of speech and you don't want to hide who you are, then that's fine. Except that you're going to come across as a jerk. Even if though you are allowed to use certain words, you should be conscientious of other people. And if that's not who you are, then maybe you should become more like that. So a student who just got in trouble for saying a profane word or something bad at school, my guess is that you didn't get in trouble because cursing is necessarily a bad thing to do. I'm sure your teacher even says a bad word here and there, so it's not necessarily bad, it's just that you need to know the time and the place to do it. Our jobs as teachers are to make you successful, professional, respectful human beings. And obviously we're supposed to teach you and you need to learn things, but aside from that, we're here to make you become decent human beings. Our jobs, as cliche as this sounds, is to help you reach higher and higher and to reach your full potential. Part of that is teaching you how to become culturally and socially accepted, which just so happens to include being a respectful human being and knowing when and how to talk in certain situations. Like I said, this might not be exactly why your school doesn't allow cursing or profanity, but it's the reasoning behind why I don't allow it in my classroom and part of the reason why my school doesn't allow it here. I'm also not judging you for cursing. Shoot, my family curses like sailors and I love them to death. They're my favorite people in the entire world. But next time you do think about using profanity, even myself included, is an acceptable setting? Are you around people you know, and are you being respectful of others? If you like this video and you want to see more videos like it, please give it a big thumbs up. Leave me some comments down in the comment section and let me know some other things that you want to hear about from a teacher's perspective. Consider subscribing to my channel, and until next time, I will see you when I see you. Bye!